The game Neverness to Everness takes place in the city of Hetero, and it's a city that is known for anything related to anomalies. An anomaly is an umbrella term for any supernatural manifestation. The origins of anomalies are still a mystery, and even if you were to nullify it, it's not gone forever. It could still return. Also, not all anomalies are bad. Currently, there are 5 types: bio, object, phenomenon, location, and meme. Bio anomalies are also known as oddities, and what separates them from other anomalies is that they are sentient. These are your Tagidos and your Kirimarus. In order for an anomaly to exist in human society, they need to have a sponsor or guarantor. Having a guarantor is not a contract and there's no expectation of servitude. It also doesn't mean that they're citizens. If they were to pass a series of requirements, then they could become citizens. A guarantor is more of a broad protection that lets them exist inside of Hetero. Object anomalies are pretty self-explanatory in my opinion. They look like and can manipulate objects. Examples of object anomalies are Imaginado or the Red Door. Object anomalies are able to act like they're alive, but that's not their true form. It's just an ability that they have, so they're not like oddities. Phenomenon anomalies are things like the hypervortex that we saw in the prologue. So far, that hypervortex is one of the most powerful anomalies we've seen. Just looking at it is enough to draw somebody to madness. Even after being nullified, it still left behind a twisted version of reality. Phenomenon anomalies could also be a faucet that was left running. Location anomalies are anomalies where the entire area is the anomaly. So the example is Justice Executioner. If you did what I did and immediately committed crimes, then you've seen this anomaly. It appears like an object, but that's just the vessel. The truth is that the anomaly is the entire network of traffic lights. It just happens to take over whatever car is nearest to the criminal and attacks. It doesn't matter where you go or how fast you drive. If you're on the streets of Hetero, it will find you. The last category of anomaly are meme anomalies. Meme anomalies are the rarest, and these are the manifestations of society's beliefs or a piece of cultural information. In one of the quests, you fight a meme anomaly because it reflects how people saw Lacrimosa as the tomato devil, and changing people's perception of her was the only way to defeat it. Anomalies have a whole bunch of powers as well. Some anomalies can create their own realm or domain, like this blueprint anomaly. The way to defeat an anomaly is to target its nexus. The nexus is the core of an anomaly, and it's unique to that specific anomaly. For this one TV anomaly, all you have to do is turn it off. Anomalies can also have derivatives, which can be anomalies that are extensions of the main one. Things like the Headless Rider and his bike are an example. The rider is the main anomaly, and the bike is the derivative. You could also contain anomalies, which is useful for research. So these were just the anomaly types. Each anomaly also has a class. These classes range from class 1, which is generally harmless, to class 10, which would be an extinction level anomaly. The class is determined by looking at the Wartheimer index. These are measured by using the Wartheimer towers around the city. This index measures how far something is from reality. The higher the absolute value, the further away from reality. Anomalies are so common in everyday life that normal humans are between -1 and 1. A class 10 anomaly has an index of -infinity to -200. Also, having an index of 0 is only theoretical. Anomalies are on the negative end of the spectrum. On the positive side of the spectrum are Espers. People that have special powers are Espers. There are 2 ways to gain their powers. Either you're born with it, or they activate later in life after a trigger. For example, Nonali got shocked by a live wire while she was trying to get back a family heirloom and discovered her ability to walk on walls. Espers can show no obvious differences from humans, but some have distinct features like anamorphic traits, demonic horns, or unusually colored skin. There is quite literally a lore reason for why the game looks like a game of Spot the Protagonist. They look special because they actually are special. Skia turned into a furry after he transformed. There are so many people that would kill for that transformation. A much clearer example is actually Nonali, because before her powers were awakened, we could see that she looked like a normal girl, but now we see that she has cat ears. Awakening Esper abilities comes with a price. This could be anything from mental, physical, or spiritual. Any price could be paid when awakening your Esper power. However, it also doesn't follow the rule of equivalent exchange, which means you could get a really bad power and an even worse price. Espers also have varying degrees of lifespans. Some have shorter lifespans, and some are nearly immortal. Currently, there are 6 different manifestations of Esper powers, and they're based on the origin of their powers. Cosmos comes from maintaining order, Chaos comes from disrupting order, Anima comes from nature and the ability to manipulate elements in life, Lakshana comes from the physical realm and uses the Esper's body as a medium. For example, we can see this with Skia and his shadow. Incantation comes from language and can be used to summon beings from other dimensions. And finally, we have Psyche, which comes from the mental and psychological realm. They require a medium that is not the self to manifest their powers. Espers can even use their abilities to create Esper technology and Esper constructs. With so many anomalies and Espers in the city, there are agencies that oversee all of it. This is what's known as the Circle, which are the 5 major public authorities: the Bureau of Anomaly Control, Yagash Court, Solano Compound, Zerogan Laboratory, and Grosh Island. These agencies are part of the 3 C's: control, containment, and cognition. The BAC is directed by Alphard and is in charge of controlling anomalies. Solano Compound houses anomalies, and Grosh Island is a prison. So both of these are used for containment. Both Yagash Court and Zerogan Laboratory are responsible for cognition. Yagash Court is an intelligence agency, and Zerogan Laboratory researches anomalies. They even work with Midas Technologies to create anomaly products. The JTF, or the Joint Task Force, are the frontline for the BAC and is made up of professionally trained humans. They're a rapid-fire response that deals with routine anomalies in their area and perform daily maintenance on the Wartheimer towers. The CSU, or the Containment Strike Unit, are responsible for the containment or nullification of general anomalies, transferring or supervising contained anomalies, and cleanup. The elite squad for dealing with anomalies are the ETD, or Enforcement Tactical Division. The ETD is made up of powerful Espers and are deployed against high-level anomalies. There are 7 squads in total. In a broader sense, the Circle also includes civilian anomaly hunter organizations and individual anomaly hunters, which is where the main character and Avon Antique Shop come into play. We play as Esper 0, which you could probably guess, the 0 is their Wartheimer index. It doesn't explicitly say it, but the game says that they do not have a detectable Wartheimer index, even though they have many powers like an Esper. It is strange because Espers at least have an index of 1, and regular humans do have an index even if it's below 1. Avon is the anomaly hunter group that our main character joins, and they're bad. Like, really bad. Like, consistently at the bottom of positive reviews bad. They are a bottom of the barrel agency. They're run by Hattori, who is a bit of a hot mess, but we love her for it. It's also a bit of an act. At a young age, she was the head of her family because her parents had died. It's anime, so of course they did. Adler has been serving her family around this time. When she was a young adult, there was an assassination attempt, but she survived. Adler gave her a pocket watch, and it looks like this is what awakens her abilities. The trippy part is that as an adult, Hattori went back into the past and gave the watch to Adler and told him to find the Tsukinoki family. Moving on to Adler, Adler found some armor called Enlightenment. This armor housed deer-like creatures called Sunyas. His 5 Sunyas are Rupa, Vedana, Sana, Sikhara, and Vinana. He's themed around Buddhist philosophy, specifically the idea of 5 heaps. I'm going to overly simplify it, but the idea is that a person is made of 5 heaps that is constantly changing. These are form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. The idea is that the concept of a self is not permanent, and to reach enlightenment and to end one's suffering, one has to let go of their attachment to these concepts. This fits Adler's character because he's definitely the wisest in Avon. He might be blind, but he sees a lot more than you would think. Now, he's blind, but he does wear those glasses because they were a gift from Nanali. Nanali is a girl that is obsessed with gangster manga and anime. The Koichi family that she's trying to revive is something that she started in school with some classmates, but life got in the way and it all fell apart. So now she's rebuilding that family with Avon. We also have Daffodil, who's the bodyguard of Avon. Daffodil has bad vision because that was the price she paid for when she awoken her Esper powers. When she was 19, she gained the power to perceive layers of existence across time and space. Unfortunately, she also saw the truth of how her parents had actually died, and she learned about her own emotional attachments. Daffodil's parents were treasure hunters for a woman called Miss T. They rebelled against her, so she got rid of them. Miss T then adopted Daffodil and raised her to act as a weapon. So when she learned the truth, she escaped and ran into Hattori. We also have Edgar, who awakened his powers when he was 3 years old. His parents worked for Yagash Court and they wrote anomaly profiles. Edgar was able to find information from any library and database, which included Yagash Court's archives. He read every report that his father had written. We also don't know much about Sakuri, but in her bio, the title "A Place That Won't Abandon Me" is very telling. Also at her side is Kirimaru, which is an oddity that loves to eat. Now moving on from Avon, we have Ster Express, which was founded by Jensen and Ji-Yuan. Ster Express is a delivery company that also acts as an intelligence agency. Ji-Yuan is a key figure, and before Ster Express, she was an agent for another agency in the Circle, but now she's retired. Her experience as an agent is good for helping her navigate social situations. Her Esper power is kind of vague. She says that she's able to turn roses into bullets, but these aren't literal flowers. In the Flower Collector, it describes flowers that were given to hide malicious intent. It seems that she's able to take this malicious intent and turn that into a weapon. She does manage a lot of other members, first off being Hathor. Hathor is a powerful Esper and is a really efficient delivery person. She was able to deliver 200 regular deliveries and 11 anomaly containers in one day, while also helping contain anomalies as a hunter. She was putting all-star numbers, but the reason that she joined Ster Express was that she lost control of her Esper powers and was taken by the BAC. Ji-Yuan had pulled some strings and was able to recruit Hathor. Since then, Hathor has been working to control her powers and has gotten better. However, she could still lose control. Thankfully, Haniel is also there. Haniel has the power to help calm down Hathor when she loses control. Since then, she's been working with Ster Express. Haniel has a pretty normal life, all things considered. She's a student, works as a courier, and she manages the Ster Express social media account. She loves the anime Generation Z, and she wants to use her powers to protect others. There are other characters in Ster Express, but they don't really have bios at this time, so we're going to look at the characters that are in the BAC. Baisong is the captain of Enforcement Tactical Division Squad 4. He's the son of a branch family. In a royal hierarchy, there's the main family and the branch family. The main family are the firstborn son's family, and the branch family are the younger siblings' families. I only bring this up because as a child, he was mocked by the main family's children. He didn't have a powerful Esper, and he was mute. Baisong wanted to become stronger. At some point, he had a teacher that taught him the power of language. As serious as his backstory is, he's also a pretty laid-back character. He plays pranks, he occasionally skips out on work, and he has a pretty relaxed demeanor. He's also not the only one from a powerful family. Fadia comes from a political family, so at a young age, she hid her desires. That was until they died, and she changed her name to Fadia DD. DD standing for Desire and Death. It is implied that she killed her family, and that's why she was sent to Grosh Island. She's crazy, like genuinely crazy. She loves pain. Like, she enjoys scratching herself to find that perfect balance. She's a pardoned prisoner and now works for the ETD under supervision. It's honestly a good thing that her new job gives her an outlet for her desires, because she is truly dangerous. Now, before being an agent for the ETD, Skia was a regular office worker, but his new appearance freaked out his co-workers. He worked there until one night at a bar he met a man with scars on his face, and the two became friends. By talking to the man, Skia realized that he could build a routine wherever he goes, so he resigned from his office job. He spent some time working with some criminals, and then he ended up joining the ETD. Mint is honestly a pretty straightforward character. She's a member of the containment unit, and she loves going out in the field to contain anomalies. She has a carefree personality, and her biggest worry is passing written exams. We also have two characters that are part of their own faction. The first one is Cheese. Cheese is the manager of the Pink Paws Bank, which is owned by the Dvorak family, which is one of the wealthiest families in Hetero. She was taken in by one of their shelters and was given an education. Growing up, she had to help her siblings find food. They mostly ate wild vegetables and wild mushrooms, but they also hunted edible anomalies. These anomalies are very dangerous, and some of her siblings never made it home. Cheese's Esper power awakened when she was hunting one night. She's working so that one day she can live together with her family. The sad part about her character is that she doesn't have a means to contact her family. Her family lives so far that it's hard to deliver letters to them. Every month she sends them a letter, but she hasn't gotten a response from them. The last character I'm going to talk about is Aurelia. When she was 14, her powers manifested when she was writing in class. She gave her pen a shake, and a school of jellyfish appeared. The price that she paid was that she lost her sense of direction. She even forgot her route to school. She had to memorize her route in advance. It was difficult to adjust when a street closed and she had to find a new route. She also can't use her legs and she's in physical therapy. She got a terrible price for her powers. This is why she has to float on a jellyfish. Now, music is also a big part of her character. She was in a band called Lines with her friends Akane and Suzuha. But Suzuha moved away and Aurelia couldn't play the drums anymore because she couldn't use her legs anymore. But nowadays, Aurelia uses her jellyfish to help with everyday tasks and is a street manager for Tamamochi Street. She's dedicated to helping the other residents, which I'm glad that something worked out for her. This is all the basic lore I have so far. I'm really enjoying the world so far and I recommend checking it out. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. It might be a week, it might be a year.